everybody, welcome to the Donna Show podcast. The Donna Show is where I will be speaking with people about their careers, their journey, and what decisions led them to choose their paths. It's always inspiring to hear their stories. I'm here to guide you, inspire you, and empower you on your journey. In each episode, we'll explore real stories from people who've walked the path, sharing the highs, the lows, the sacrifices, and the successes. I'm Donna. I'm a healthcare professional in eyes, and I'm a mother. Medicine and dentistry is special to me, as it was a career that I wanted to do, but it didn't happen for me. Had I had help and support, it may have been different. As a mother, I want to give my children many opportunities, and I believe medicine and dentistry are great career options to consider. These fields are not only rewarding and challenging, but also open many doors for the future. They require expertise, skill, empathy, and compassion, and offer the chance to make a real difference in people's lives and health. When I think of my special guest today, my brother, also known as Alex the Medical Mentor, I think of dedication, resilience, and empowerment. He's studying medicine at UNSW, and he loves what he does. He's really committed to helping students get into medical or dental school. He is the top master coach for UCAT applications and medicine and dentistry interviews in Australia, New Zealand, and the UK. With over 15 years of experience, he is the first and only full-time medical mentor and can help you become a medical or dental student. Whether you're in high school, university, a mature age student, international student, or a parent like me, let's explore what we need to do to make that happen. Now, let's take a closer look at your journey, Alex. What inspired you to pursue medicine and dentistry?
As a child, I was just really fascinated with science and with helping people. My grandmother raised me to help people, and she taught me kindness and integrity. And I just imagined myself in a health field, a field where I could help people. But I think what really shifted my motivation was when our uncle suffered an eye injury while trying to save a boy who was drowning in a swimming pool. The boy panicked and thrashed his eyes. And sadly, after many operations, his eyes just couldn't be repaired. I think seeing how the doctors were able to help him and just the support they provided really touched me. And I think from then on, I decided I wanted to be in health, specifically an ophthalmologist. So I grew up with medicine in mind, and I told myself I wouldn't stop until I became one.
Those were really sad moments. I do remember you were looking at my science books all the time, and what were the key milestones in your path to medicine, and what challenges did you face during the application process and in medical school?
Well, back when I applied for medicine, we were ranked with 3 scores, or up to 3. One was our academics, our high school score. The second one was an aptitude test. Back then it was called the UMAT, today it's called the UCAT. And then there was the interview. Some universities today need all 3, some don't, and only need 1 or 2 of those components. And that process hasn't changed for over 20 years. You asked me about challenges. So I didn't get into medicine right after high school. As keen as I just wasn't prepared for that UMAT exam, and I failed miserably. Being the first in our family and our extended families to go through this process, I just had little guidance. So I was really shattered then. I took a year of pharmacy, worked really hard to maintain a high average, resat that UMAT exam again, and then sat interviews all around Australia. And gratefully, I managed to receive an offer from UNSW. So there I was, 18-year-old, trying to do well in full-time pharmacy studies and also trying to balance 3 jobs. But I think that year just taught me something. It taught me a lot about personal growth and helped me develop grit. While getting into medical school is challenging and difficult, I think what most people don't realize is that it's just the very first step of the 13, 15-year studying, training journey that you go on to become a specialist. Medical school and training just gets progressively challenging. The sheer amount you need to learn, memorize, and then also apply, overwhelming. You always feel like you're studying. There's always an assessment around the corner, something on next week. And you feel like you're in the deep end. But in saying that, you get used to it, and the challenges push you to your limits, and you grow.
Wow, that's an incredible journey. I remember when you came home after high school in year 12 and you didn't get a competitive UMAT score, and you were really extremely upset. You didn't get into the course that you wanted, which was medicine, and you said, what were you going to do? And you said you wanted to do pharmacy for a year and try out again. I think that path really led you to grow, and it did build a lot of grit in you. I remember that it was a tough year, but you made through. Tell me more about what you do now.
Sure. So today I mentor students into medicine and dentistry with all aspects of the admission process. So that's the aptitude test, the UCAT, the applications, the medicine and dentistry interviews, undergraduate and postgraduate entry, local and international applicants as well. I believe I'm the first and only full-time medical mentor with that track record. So after I did well in my UMAT on my second go, I realized that UMAT can actually be prepared for well, and that existing companies weren't doing such a great job. Like my friends and I had bought their materials, we went to their training courses, and we didn't do well on our first time. Some after me, they still continued trying out for medicine for several years and they didn't get in. They eventually went into dentistry. I also didn't agree with some of the values that those companies taught, encouraging students to pursue medicine for greed. I remember thinking to myself, hey, no one's really doing it that well. Maybe I can give this a shot. And so that's what I did. I started tutoring students right after I got into medicine in my first year of school, and I haven't stopped since.
I feel it's quite incredible how you turned this hobby of yours into a business and that it's helped so many students become their dream career. Now, Alex, we've never spoken about this. Leaving medicine after all that hard work, it must have been quite a difficult decision. And how did our parents feel about it?
It was simple, but it wasn't easy. My parents are very traditional. Our parents, bless them, they wanted me to become a doctor. But at the same time, they could see how much personal sacrifice I was making and that I was just becoming a bit discontented. So they eventually learned to accept, with your help, of course, that their son wasn't going to be one.
That took a lot of convincing, I tell you.
I think I just asked myself, is medicine really what you want to do for the next 50 years? And would you be happy and fulfilled? You're at this fork where you can either continue sitting on this fast-moving train and you can't get off, and you might get to a destination that you might not be happy with, or do you kind of get off while you still can and don't invest any more time and energy into it? You know, I've always been very independent. So if getting medicine was my choice, then getting out of it would also be my choice. I still have a lot of respect for doctors. It's just not for me.
It was a huge challenge for you and the family. But I'm glad that we supported your decision, and I'm glad I convinced Mum and Dad about this. And you stayed connected to medicine in a new way. So as long as you're happy, I'm happy for you.
Thanks.
Now let's talk about how students can prepare for a career in medicine or dentistry, and what advice can you share?
There's a lot they can do. I'll give you 3 pieces of advice. The first, as with all things, prepare and over-prepare. You need to have a game plan for all those 3 components of getting into medicine, whether that's your UCAT or GAMSAT, the aptitude test, the academics, your school and uni performance, and the interview. You need to prepare and over-prepare there. I've made a presentation on YouTube about this. The second advice, I would say, know yourself. You need to know your personality, what you like, what you're good at, what you're not good at. Do you like studying? Do you not like studying? Do you like exams? I think it's really important why you are choosing medicine and not your family. And also, like, what sacrifices are you willing to make? I always tell my students to spend more time with doctors and health professionals to observe their work. The third piece of advice is get help. Having an experienced, passionate coach who knows what you need to do and how you get there, and who offers constructive feedback, can make a world of a difference. These medical schools, they get 2,000 to 3,000 applicants every year, and they only take in 100 to 200. So some people try out for more than 5 years. Other people, they get in on the first go. So it's about the quality of the prep and not just quantity. Prepare, over-prepare, know yourself, and get help.
Great advice. So the mentor's guidance and feedback, they're pretty crucial. Can you share 1 or 2 of your students' journeys?
I can think of a girl in recent years. She didn't get a competitive high school ATAR, leaving year 12, and she didn't do that well in 𝗏𝗂𝗃 as well. So she only really had one option left if she wanted to study medicine in the next year. Her parents came to me for advice about taking a gap year. And I told them, like, with her ATAR scores, the chances probably wouldn't be great, and that there was also like a big risk in putting all your eggs in one basket to go for bond. But her family insisted that she didn't want to do 𝗏𝗂𝗃 again, and she didn't want to start uni. Once you start uni, you got to maintain really high grades, and she thought that that would be really hard for her. So for about 4 months, we prepped for bond. The extracurriculars she could do on the side to increase her exposure to health, the psychometric tests, and that bond interview. Kate got into bond medicine. She probably had one of the lowest ATAR scores getting in. We just felt like it was a miracle that that had happened. Another student I had last year, he also finished high school with an uncompetitive ATAR. He didn't even sit the 𝗏𝗂𝗃 in year 12 because he was so daunted by it. William had started some prep with some other 𝗏𝗂𝗃 company who had forced him to follow a really strict, inflexible pattern of study, which left him, in his words, traumatized. In the past 5 to 10 years anyway, there's a lot of companies and startups falsely claiming success and unfortunately preying on vulnerable students. So William, he gave up in year 12 and he ended up applying and starting medical school in Georgia, Eastern Europe.
That's really far.
He started it, and after a few weeks, he returned home in tears. And he decided to get a gap year. William first reached out to me because he wanted help with 𝗏𝗂𝗃. That's where I needed to encourage him to even do a practice question because he still had so much fear and anxiety. His mother was also very stressed. We had probably one too many tearful conversations. Initially, William scored in the mid-2000s, so the 𝗏𝗂𝗃's out of 3,600, or it was, until recently. And then he ended up scoring above 3,000, more than 90th percentile. So yeah, that was an incredible feat, and I was just really proud of him. And he ended up getting 𝗏𝗃 dentistry. But now that I think of William, I know in the hearts of hearts, he probably still wants to do medicine, and he may apply again in the future. But the takeaway is, William went from having 0 options, 0 doctor dentistry prospects after year 12 in Australia before we met, feeling really, really desperate and hopeless, to having several options and an actual offer. So yeah, I'm proud of Kate and William. But as you can see, prep and not giving up are key. You can probably appreciate now my work is not only supporting the student, but also the entire family. We work as a team.
It's a beautiful reminder that students, even with a lower ATAR, with the right support and approach and focus, they can actually achieve their dreams. Nothing is impossible. Now, before we finish, do you have any final words?
Medicine and dentistry, they're definitely gratifying paths. You get to make a meaningful impact on people's lives. You challenge yourself, you learn new things every day, you meet great people, and you make lifelong friends with huge hearts. Also patients who've just gone through so much. If you're genuinely passionate about medicine and you need a trusted mentor who understands what you're going through and treats you like a younger brother and sister, you can reach out to me. I'm Alex, the medical mentor.
Thank you for listening to this episode of The Donna Show. I hope you found inspiration and practical advice on what it takes to get into medicine and dentistry. Whether you're in the application process or just starting, remember that with dedication and with the right support, the journey is achievable. A big thank you to Alex, the medical mentor, for sharing his story and insights. Congratulations on your success in finding your happiness mission and helping your students find their path. Really proud of you, Alex. If you're ready to take the next step forward towards your medical or dental career, don't hesitate to reach out to Alex for guidance. He's here to help you every step of the way. For more on Alex, visit his website at www.medmentor.com.au, his Facebook page, Alex MedMentor, or check out his pages on Tutor Finder and Google Pages. If you enjoyed today's episode, be sure to subscribe, rate, and leave a review. Feel free to reach out on social media or on our website if you have any questions, thoughts, or stories to share. I would really love to hear from you. On the next episode, I'll speak to another inspiring person about their career and life path. Be happy, be inspired, and be you.